I know this series came out like a month ago, but hey, it's a lot of fire media out right now, dog. It's actually too much going on. The Vince Staples Show was a fun little 5-episode miniseries that was pretty fire. Shit was mad short though. I saw 5 episodes and I was like, okay, this can be a calm little 5-hour binge watch, right? But these episodes is only like 25 minutes each. Hey, but I guess that's better than overstaying your welcome. But damn, right as I was actually starting to get attached to these characters for real, this shit was over. I don't really want to compare this show to something like Atlanta, because these two different cities feel so very different in extremely different ways. Like Atlanta just shows you how wacky and surreal that city is. As a nigga that lives there, I can confirm shit that be happening in the show bar for bar happens here. But the Vince Staples Show takes place in Long Beach, and I really don't know shit about anything pertaining to the state of California, but from the series itself, it feels like the crazy shit that be happening is like a different flavor of weird. The actual episodes themselves are formatted very differently from Atlanta too. Like there's 4 main characters of that series, but the Vince Staples Show is really just about, that's right, you who guessed it, Vince Staples himself. Like he does have a supporting cast we see a few times throughout the series, like his ma Dukes and his girl Deja, but other than that, it's really just a look into weird aspects of his everyday life. I mean, I'm sure it's at least partially a caricature of his normal life, but based on shit he said in interviews before, I don't think it's that far off. Now, did he actually get jumped by a gang of Timu Disney World mascots? Probably not, but who really knows? I ain't never met the nigga. I like how I said I wasn't gonna compare the show to Atlanta and then promptly proceeded to compare this show to Atlanta. Hey man, shout out Afro Surrealism. Also, the opening of this show is so fucking majestic. I don't know why I just called it an opening, bruh. This is not an anime. But the intro song is so beautiful, dog. Every day I see you is a fine day. It sets the tone for the weird ass levels of fuckery that are going to ensue in the episode in such a perfect way. But speaking of which, the actual show itself is great. The first episode really just throws you into the life and you kind of got to put the pieces together yourself, but slowly throughout the series we get more bits and pieces of lore and shit about his life. But really for the most part, it's like getting on a roller coaster right after the shit already started. We here for the ride now. The show's formatted in such a fun and different way because you could low-key watch any of these episodes in whatever order you want. Like the only real exposition the first episode gives you is A, his relationship with his mom, and B, his relationship with his girl. But basically Vince gets arrested for speeding, which is absolutely insane. Well, no, actually he got pulled over for speeding and arrested for some other shit. But regardless, the nigga's in jail now. This is not his first time, but regardless, he really not trying to be here. Also, he's playing himself in this role, but like maybe caricaturized a little bit. So naturally, somebody gonna notice that Vince Staples is here. And of course, it's a put me on ass dude who's trying his hardest to get this man to listen to his music. And he is just not going for it. Also, this dude named Poke is in the cell across from Vince, and he's clearly insinuating that he's going to stab the shit out of him. Full on Crocodile to Luffy on Alabasta. Straight Norman Osborn with the glider and naturally he's tweaking the whole episode because he got in here for speeding, and now this random ass dude is trying to separate this shit. He's trying to get his cell switched, call his manager, question mark. I don't really know who this character is. Like, I don't know if I just missed that or like it was like a vaguely ambiguous, like maybe like could be his manager, could be like his like cousin, who knows. Maybe I wasn't listening. If you've seen the show, let me know. Bars, call his mom, and neither of them are trying to pick him up, bruh. He is on his own. One of the cops recognize who he is, and that shit does not change anything at all. He is still stuck in his cell. He simply has to face this nigga Poke, but not before adding a little shit to his inventory. So he finally talks to this man to figure out what the problem is, and turns out it boils down to him being from Redacted. And
we are making money, guns, man, guns, man. You don't know why it's going on.
I know Vince has talked about his past with the gang life and interviews and how that's really just how he grew up. So it's interesting how it's kind of like subtly woven into the plot of this show. Well, actually, sometimes in the show it's a little bit less than subtle, but you know what I'm trying to say. But yeah, he gets home fine at the end and comes home to Deja like nothing happened at all. Episode 2 is probably my favorite in the whole season though. Vince is trying to start a calm little cereal business, you feel me, called Kapow Pops. This is really the greatest cereal to hit the shelves since Booty-O's, you feel me? So he's pitching into this crazy huge loan bank, and they deny him because he's not as up as he needs to be to do this. Also racism. Rick Ross pulls up out of nowhere too. I get startled whenever I see this and I don't hear
Maybach music.
But then the bank gets robbed, and turns out he knows the niggas that's robbing a bank, and we get the perfect setup for a hostage episode. But Vince is cool with these niggas, so he just helps them get to plotting. It was funny as hell start to finish, and we get to see Vince's big brain tactics at play here. The spirit of Lelouch v Britannia himself possesses this man, and he's like, wait a minute, I can blackmail the bank teller to put my cereal on the shelves, and I can figure out how to get access to the big safe with all the real cash instead of some quick little ransom money. Just evoking the word ransom flashed me back to 2019 for a couple seconds there. Holy shit. And most of it works out. Kinda, sorta, a little bit. Actually, no, the only part of this plan that works out is Vince getting his cereal on the shelves, but we don't actually see that until the last episode. And that big ass safe Vince was trying to get the code to was dead empty. Ocean's 11 happened here just hours prior and nobody knew it all. Tragic. Episode 3 was a little bonding moment between Deja and Vince's mom, who really does not f with Deja, at the cookout. After watching this episode, I never knew how much I truly needed a cookout episode. But through this episode, we learn a lot about Vince's family and his relationship with all of them. He sits at a table with the unks, and now that he's on, damn near all of them want something from him. All except one of his unks drops a couple gems about success and how your family plays into that, both good and bad. I ain't gonna lie, I did not get the reference at all when I watched this, but apparently the mystery unk is actually a famous football player, so shout out him. But Deja finally earns the trust of Vince's mom, and niggas start boxing at the cookout. I know absolutely none of this makes any sense if you haven't seen the show, but I really do implore you to give it a try for real. If you don't care about watching it in order, I highly would suggest starting with episode 2, but episode 4 is a trip. This is the closest this show gets to straight up surreal, wacky type f***ery. Last episode we had Deja bonding with Vince's family, so naturally we get to see Vince bond with Deja's family this time around. They pull up to Timu Disneyland, maybe a little Six Flags mixed in there too, for Deja's little brother's birthday, and Vince really does not want to be here. He really spends this whole episode trying to get everybody super overpriced chicken, and they really do not want to serve this man. Deja also gets fried by the cashier. Bro, these motherfuckers is not having a good time right now. And whole time all of this is happening, this time skip Johnny Test mascot keeps staring Vince down, but he has to go to this back alley ass underground type place within the theme park to get the chicken, and he kind of just has to kill time while they make it. He watches somebody die in a magic show, gets a weird fortune from a caricature drawing lady, and gets jumped by all of the mascots. Like, bro, just be happening in this show. But he finally gets the chicken and everything is fine. They all look so happy, right? Just look at them. But the last episode is some wild ass shit, dog. Vince gets chased all throughout Long Beach by this crazy ass phantom from his past, and this phantom is a regular nigga. But he's really trying to boom this man Vince. Oh yeah, his name is also Vince. So it's really like the final Act 3 battle where the main character has to fight the dark version of themselves. But it's Vince and Vince. Whenever this man sees Vince, he immediately sees red and pulls out the stick. This is someone from Vince's past, but he really does not remember him at all. He also has a whole ass son whom he's picked up from school, who's in the back seat during all of this. And it's so crazy because he's literally a normal ass father who cares about his son. But boom, let Vince Staples pop up in a frame and Sukuna awakens in him. But after going all across the city, their final showdown is in a little clothing store. And Vince really had to boom somebody's father. This show really is a collection of the most random moments of this crazy city through the lens of one Vince Staples. He's a very interesting person because yes, he makes absolutely fire music, but most of the Vince Staples highlights I personally see are funny interview clips or him dropping real shit or just his general personality. And I think it's cool that he decided to channel that into an entire show, which apparently has been in the works for a minute. I think it's crazy that there's not even like an album rollout tie-in type beat that like goes with this show. Like he really just wanted to make a whole ass show. And I respect it. Vince Staples really do be dropping real gems, but his like dry ass delivery like almost disguises it, and it just like makes it like sound funny, but it's like, yo, low-key he's like saying some like really some like really real shit right now. Like, I mean, sometimes it do be a little bullshit mixed in there, probably, but for the most part, they be dropping gems. Come on now. But yeah, this show was absolutely fire. And shout out Vince Staples and shout out you.
I can't feel my face right now, I'm burning up. I got this feeling that I won't come down, like, got this feeling that I won't come down, like, got this feeling that I won't come down, like, I can't feel my face right now, I'm